know that we know. And I'm going to right now err on the side. I mean, the man inherited an incredible catastrophe. So he comes from the working class. He was raised by a single mother and his grandparents. And he's a black man in the United States of America. And I'm telling you, he's also a smart guy. Right now, we don't need a dumb guy in the White House. We need a smart guy. So fortunately, we've got the smart guy right now. We've got a better chance with the smart guy. So.
Okay, one more question. You, sir, you are, sir, right?
Two more.
In the white.
How you doing? Mr. Moore, I wanted to know, I saw you a couple months ago on Bill Maher's show talking about how you're such a huge Obama supporter, and I wanted to know, you talked about the change he promised to America. Has he delivered on all that change in your eyes?
Has Obama delivered on the change he's promised?
Well, I answered that in the last question. Now we have to get two more questions. I think it's too early. He's been in office for 8 months. So I know a lot of people on the left are already, upset. I'm not that upset yet. I'm willing to give the man a bit of a chance here, considering what he's got in front of him. But a year from now, the next movie may be about him. He's really at the precipice right now. He can decide whether or not the Afghanistan war is Bush's war or his war. It's becoming his war. So, but damn, I tell you, I gotta, just speaking personally, I've been through the ringer for the last 8 years. And so, that scene where we're in downtown Detroit, at the moment he's elected president, and we keep the camera on the people. We never go to the TV screen that they're watching. We don't go to Grant Park. You never see Obama in the moment that he wins. Because in my mind, it wasn't he who really won. We won. We had put an end to 8 years of absolute misery and pathetic destruction of our country and its economy. So, man, I'm going to go with that for a while. And I think that there's this old famous incident with Roosevelt that actually happened where this woman came up to him and said, when are you going to get us Social Security? You promised us Social Security. He said, I'm not going to get you Social Security. You're going to have to make me do it. I can't do this by myself, he said. I've got all the banks and the moneyed interests against me. The only way we're going to have Social Security is if you make it happen. You've got to make me and make Congress do it. And that's what the country did in the 30s. The people rose up. They got behind Roosevelt. They had his back. Filmmakers, artists started doing work that responded to the times. That's when we got Frank Capra and Preston Sturges and John Steinbeck and all the people who made these great works of art that inspired the masses that came to the theaters, that read the books, that went to the plays, and they left these theaters energized and committed to getting behind these things to make the country a better place. And this is my small contribution. I encourage other filmmakers to do the same, other artists, other people, that we use our culture to reach out to our fellow Americans and Canadians to try and get this country, get these countries of ours. I'm sorry I have to include you now in this, but you've gone down the same rat hole. So, I think we were just saying this is my first movie. I think I've not mentioned the word Canada.
But it does have a bowling scene.
There was a bowling scene, that's true. There was snow and cold weathers.
One more question right there.
I might have missed it while we were giving the standing ovation, but can you give us any insight as to what's happened with those families? Have they met on their feet? Are they better? It was heartbreaking.
What's happened to the families in the film and what you might have missed during the in the closing credits, I do talk a little bit about what's happened with some of the families. The Hacker family in Peoria, Illinois, we've been actually helping them and working with them, and we've got them an attorney now. And me, myself, our our people were going to fight to get their house back. We think it was illegally taken from them, and so we're going to fight Citibank on that and try and make that happen for them. The very first eviction you see, that was a videotape that was sent to me by that family. They were filming their own eviction, and this is how I find out a lot of stuff, because people know me and they know my email address and my PO box, and so I just opened up the mail one day and there was this videotape and put it in, and it was kind of harrowing because I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, when the cops came through the door, they were put out, of course, of their home. But I mean, listen, this goes on, as it says in the credits, there's one foreclosure filing in the United States every 7.5 seconds. 1 out of every 8 homes in America is in delinquency or foreclosure. It mentions a couple, I don't know if you're referring to anything else that you want to know what happened, but Walmart has stopped doing dead peasants insurance. They're the smart ones, because I think when this lawyer started going after it, they saw that once this became public, the onslaught of bad publicity that this was going to bring, other companies have not stopped doing it. And so one of my hopes is that federal law is passed outlawing this dead peasants insurance. There's a lot of things I hope will happen. I wish Obama would issue a presidential decree, a moratorium on evictions for the next year. No more evictions until we straighten this housing mess out. I hope there are investigations of Wall Street and Goldman Sachs and how they gained this whole thing to benefit themselves. But these are all little pieces of things that I hope will happen. And there's actually a much larger thing that needs to happen, and that's that we have to have an economy that is democratically run, that's run as a democracy. You and I right now have no say in how our economies are run. And until that happens, as far as I'm concerned, we don't live in a democracy. You can't call it a democracy because we get to vote every 2 or 4 years. It also has to be that the decisions that are made that affect us in our daily lives, we have to have a say in how those decisions are made. And as I said at the end of the movie, I don't believe in regulations at this point. 100 years ago, when they were discussing child labor, whether or not to get rid of child labor, there were good, even liberal type people who said, well, we just need some regulations. We just need to have safer factories for the kids, and make sure they go to school, and then it's okay. No, it's not okay. There's no good child labor, there's no good slavery, and there's no good capitalism. Capitalism is an organized system to guarantee that greed becomes the primary force, the profit motive of our economic system. And it's a Ponzi scheme. We all talk about Bernie Madoff. But capitalism is a scheme that allows the few at the top to get very wealthy, and it has the rest of us running around thinking we could be that way too someday if we just work hard enough, if we just sell enough Tupperware, if we just sell enough Amway products, we can get a big Cadillac. And I mixed a bunch of, Ponzi schemes. But it's like, this has got to stop. It's absolutely insane that the richest 1% have as much financial wealth as the bottom 95% combined. I'm telling you, my friends, when anthropologists dig us up hundreds of years from now, they're going to look at us like we were crazy. That we lived in a democracy, we actually had the power, the voting power, to make it any way we wanted to make it, and we allowed the 1% to call the shots and take the money. There's a pie on the table, and there are 10 people at the table, and one guy says, 9 of those slices are mine, and he takes them, and the other 9 people at the table have to fight over the remaining slice. That's what we've got right now. And I just want to say, too, just before we close it, that some friends of mine are here from Sudbury. These are the